Hello, my dear friends and family. Operator Starsky here, together with Paul Shtelmakh, my good friend and colleague from the UA TV channel. Today we will talk about several updates, several things that happened in Ukraine. For example, this massive drone/missile strike that took place tonight. We know that Russia hit another record. They launched more than 5,000 drones and missiles combined overnight. Tell me, first of all, how are you? How's the situation there around your place?
On the ground.
Yeah, is everything safe? Are you safe? And how did you survive this night?
Yeah, so about safety, I'm obviously not safe, and many people are not, because as you can see, I'm not in a shelter. Right now we have another drone attack on Kyiv, around 70 Shahids all over Ukraine right
Is
now.
everything safe? Are
Uh,
you?
yeah, with more to come, even maybe missiles. So last night was really loud, as some monitoring channels were reporting about 10 Kinjal missiles were fired against Kyiv only. So they are trying to break the spirits with these strikes, obviously. And yeah, I could have problems with connection right now. I'll try to change my Wi-Fi, but still, we are holding on in Kyiv and all over Ukraine, because what other choice do we have? We have no other choice right now. And yeah, these attacks are more coordinated in Kyiv doesn't mean that other places are calm as well. All the frontline regions are suffering daily attacks, and Sumy are shelled every day, Sumy, Kherson. So the situation is really difficult all over the fronts in Ukraine, and even the rear places are not as safe as they used to be because of the lack of air defenses. And I believe that's the next question that you would like to discuss.
Yeah, absolutely. But before we talk about this one, do you really believe that this is a kind of psychological pressure on Ukrainians? Because look, first time Putin had negotiations with Trump, there was this missile and drone strike taking place that very moment while they were talking on the phone. And they were discussing basically like peace negotiations, right? Peace talks. And while they were talking about peace, Putin sent 170 drones back then in March. And now the topic is like completely different, because Putin said, like, I'm not going to give up on Ukraine. I will keep attacking. Like, you cannot stop me. And he was striking Ukraine again. Do you think that it's a sort of a psychological pressure, or maybe something else?
Yeah, and I can feel it. Yeah, you know, sometimes when we make fun of the enemy, or we try to use irony, but still deep inside you feel that they are working. And right now there's loud explosions just outside the window. And the fact that you may say, oh, it's just drones, nothing serious. In Ukraine in 2025, it's not okay. It's not okay for people to distinguish something more dangerous in the air or less dangerous. Like, yeah, a missile is more dangerous than a drone because a drone flies slower. You can kind of hide from it. You have this illusion that you can hide from a drone. Still, if it reaches you in about 100 meters, it's really a high dangerous projectile. And still, yeah, I personally can feel this pressure mounting really hard right now. So last night was sleepless. The whole month is really like sleepless. It's not like it was summer 2024 and 2023. So you used to be more calm in 2024 than now.
I think that Putin shows his, how to call it, dedication to his plan, to capture Ukraine, like doing this, because we all know that Russia is suffering some pretty crazy economical situation. We know that they lack personnel on their enterprises, on their industries, so economically. And he also mentioned that in his recent address to the population of the terrorist federation. And at the same time, you can see that he keeps just building and ramping up the production of drones to increase the number of them. And on the other hand, again, look, there were more than 1,000, more than 5,000 drones and missiles that were launched tonight. Speaking of effectiveness of this strike, besides psychological effect, how would you describe it? Was it successful in striking Ukrainian energy infrastructure and things like that? The light disappeared. I don't know.
No,
Water
no,
disappeared.
no, nothing like that. Unfortunately, this campaign of strikes is entirely against civilians. We have literally no strikes on military enterprises reported. You know, when we strike Russian military plants, there's a lot of information about it on Telegram channels, which is like the black mirror of the war, like Telegram channels. True information and psyops are distributed right there. And yeah, we cannot see information on Russian Telegram channels because, you know, it's an open network. You can access any channel that you want, even the Ministry of Defense of Russia, as well as Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. These are two open channels. You can, all users, you can switch, I don't know, Google Translate and try to look through the publications. There's no proof, no video proof of Russia hitting some military plants, except for like that big explosion in Zhytomyr. But still, I do not know what was there. So for the knowledge of our viewers, a couple of I believe it was yesterday. No, a couple of days, 2 days ago, there was a huge explosion in Zhytomyr, near the Zhytomyr city. An enterprise literally blew up in the air with several civilians killed in the process and dozens being injured. And that's probably some kind of subversive activity, and maybe something of military-industrial complex was produced there. But still, these attacks are against civilians and against the civilian morale. Most of the strikes land on civilian targets in Kyiv, residential buildings, and it's horrifying because I can hear Shahid right now. It's coming closer. I don't know if you can hear that. It's like flying somewhere near, but not really close. You know, as there's a grass trimmer, you know, a gas trimmer that's works on gas, and that sound, it's really, it's itchy on the ear, and it's eerie. It's not really scary, it's eerie. Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, Evoli. Whoa. Yeah.
I can literally hear the shots, I think.
Just one moment, please. Okay.
Yeah. Check out.
Well, I believe that they've done for now. Yeah.
Do you consider maybe going to the bomb shelter because we can continue the stream?
No, there's literally no sense in it. Not for me.
As you say, Ukrainian journalists are brave and reckless. Yeah, but I hear so many opinions already on the internet, in the commentaries, from my friends as well. Like, guys, how much time can you just, coping with it? Because, for example, Israel shoots like gazillion missiles at Iranian civilian buildings. Iranians shoot gazillion missiles back at Israel, because they all want each other to suffer, and they don't care. They don't care what the international community says. Russia strikes Ukraine like more than 3 years straight, and they don't care. They talk about peace, they strike Ukraine, they don't care. They kill civilians literally because nobody can stop them, and they say, maybe it's time finally for you to blow up a bunch of like Russian apartment buildings, because the imbeciles are like too brave, because they stand outside, on the balconies, recording Ukrainian drones, because they're not afraid. They're not afraid that Ukrainian drones will be killing them. So maybe it's like time to change the tactics. And I'm explaining, like, guys, we cannot do that.
Well, it's okay, okay.
Oh, okay. High level of danger.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to explain that it's not like we're playing like noble knights. No. The difference is that we can send 100 drones and, I don't know, blow up a bunch of like Russian buildings, bury like 2-3 families, and so what? It will make you happier. Instead of that, we can send 100 drones to a Russian ammo storage or Russian airfield, destroy a bunch of their aircraft, their bombers, or destroy like that deputy commander of the Russian Navy, Gudkov, that was killed 2 days ago.
Actually, yeah,
And
Gudkov and up to 20 high-ranking officers were killed in action in a strike in the Kursk region.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I see these strikes killing dozens of high-ranking officers. If it was a Western army or a NATO army, they would be overwhelmed by this. They will be rethinking, reshaping strategy, and maybe pulling back, trying to negotiate. But not this aggressor, and not the one in the Middle East that starts with I and ends with N, because I see each day some morning photographs posted on Telegram channels, of my acquaintance, and for example, Igal Levin, which is a journalist and a military expert from Israel, and he's like posting every day some photos of dozens of Iranian officers killed, and they do not stop. They just hire new ones, and this happens here as well. And about those Dizillion missiles against civilians from each of the sides in the Middle East conflict, you see, I'm not telling war, because there's literally no conventional war, no front line over the two countries, the two warring sides, the Israel and Iran. So it's not an euphemism, I believe, as they try to say Ukrainian conflict, not Russia-Ukraine war. There's literally no front line. And it is different because, Israel is a very compact country with lots of cities situated on the coastline, and you can hope for something when you have that Brazilian missiles, Brazilian, the Brazilians are some kind of ballistic missiles, low quality. No matter the target, just send a lot of them. Maybe some of the missiles will reach the target. No, it's different, because Ukraine on a whole different level. It's like if we say Israel between the first war of independence and the second one, we're still not accumulating that kind of firepower in our hands to make that massive answer even possible against Russian civilians, for example, and that will not be the case, because we have our partners, which will be very upset by these tactics.
I agree with you, but only partially. You know why? Because from the military standpoint, striking civilians doesn't change anything, especially in case of
Exactly.
Ukraine. Again, we send 100 drones and we kill a bunch of Russian families, right? What does it change for us?
What's the reason? Yeah.
Yeah. If we destroy a bunch of Russian ammo storages and command centers and tanks instead, it will save lives. It will actually reach some kind of result. It will make us like several centimeters closer to Russian collapse instead of like just striking Russian targets. And that is the difference between us and them, because again, does it change much in terms of morale? Look at, for example, Aleppo, right? Look at Aleppo, at Syria, what Russians did to Syrians. They turned their biggest cities into ruins, literally,
Ruins.
and people didn't care. Years passed. Where is Bashar Assad? Literally drinking vodka with Yanukovych somewhere on the kitchen.
Yeah, and you see, and actually the country was obliterated, razed to the ground. And where are the Russians? They had to leave the country. They
Yeah.
had to leave it because the people decided for themselves who they want to support. And yeah, I completely agree with you that it's absolutely pointless in a war to target civilians, because what is war itself? Well, I mean, you're a military guy. War is the last resort to solve kind of a conflict, yeah? A conflict of interest. It is not in the goals and targets of a conflict to kill civilians. Not at all. So these are crimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Russia considers every Ukrainian woman, like man, grandpa, grandma, kid, they consider every Ukrainian their enemy. The reason they strike Ukraine, because this is their goal. They want to kill us. They didn't start the war because they wanted us to live. They started the war because they wanted to kill us, and basically that's the reason. We have a good commentary from Calvin there in the chat. If you did it, suddenly everyone takes notice. But when Russia does it, nobody bats an eye. Absolutely. Absolutely, because this is the kind of news that people got tired of. Like Ukraine is being hit every single day, and we can tell currently we have 284 absolutely decent and courageous people there in the chat watching us right now. Last year that would be 2000. Just to compare, that is literally the reason why nowadays people only talk when Ukraine strikes Russia. When Ukraine hits Russian bombers parked there at the airfields and everything else.
Yeah, because there's literally no major targets hitting Ukraine. It's just like Gaza right now. I don't know. They are watching it like a reality show.
Yeah, pretty much. But speaking about Ukraine's air defense challenge, we know that there are so many rumors right now. There are rumors coming from, I think, Reuters, or was it Reuters or Politico, that said that apparently Pete Hegseth could himself, stop that support, the defense aid coming to Ukraine, and yada yada. And we have recent updates coming from the President Zelensky after the phone call to President Trump that they decided to start working together to establish several teams that would cooperate in bringing the military aid to Ukraine. Do you know more details on that?
That's actually a very good point, establishing a team that will be specifically doing with that, because, President Trump is a busy man. He's been actually, guys from the United States, happy Independence Day. It's 4th of July. Yeah,
That's
4th of July. So happy
something I wanted to start this stream with. My dear friends, happy Independence Day. Oh my
Yes.
God, I got completely lost. I was worried for Paul over there.
And as I was saying on UATV today, actually it was not me, it was Henry. But I wrote those words, Happy Independence Day, United States, and help us protect our independence. That's the message. And actually working in teams will provide for more effective communication and more productive work rather than contacting or on the level of leaders, because presidents are busy men. And I do not want to be too dramatic, but still, they had a very good talk. They talked really good, yes, and he's disappointed with Putin really much for the fifth time this year after a talk on the phone. So too much weapons sent to Ukraine, but still some more can be sent. Uh, I am really sorry, but that's literally the quote. We've sent too much weapons, too much, but still we need them too as well in the United States. And I mean, 4 Patriot batteries are actually in Ukraine. Of the 7 promised, only 4 are in place. There's literally 100 of them in the United States, not in active duty, just standing there. More than 100 complexes, batteries that can work. So it's entirely a political question. I really hope that these supplies will reoccur, because Patriot is the most effective kind of weapon. But we are all talking about United States and Ukraine and weapons supplies, and it's been halted, all that stuff. We kind of omit a very pleasant, maybe, and very effective fact. The Germans are not even bothering to count the number of air defense that they send to Ukraine. So they like sending it and sending and sending, because they can feel it's getting more dangerous for them. And they are sending Iris-T missiles. We are very grateful to Germany. All of the supplies are secret right now, but still, I'm not a military man. I'm not in contact with the air defenses, but I believe that most of the downings over Kyiv are now made with Iris-T and SAMP-T complexes, because they are supplied from Europe, and the missiles for them are supplied from Europe. And I've seen those complexes with like the markings of missiles. One launcher had 48 cruise missiles downed on it. Only one launcher. We're not talking about a battery. So Iris-T is really, really effective. It's effective stuff. Germans, I believe, they continue to produce it more. And Iris-T is an entire generation of missiles. So they have air-to-air missiles, which are armed on combat jet fighters. I really would like to see maybe F-16s with those Iris-T missiles like mounted on them, or something sort of that. Still, air defenses are working. Thank you to the air defense troops. And yeah, we need those Patriots as well, but thanks to our European friends.
Yeah, Iris-T uses the AM2000 missile, which is extremely nice. It's infrared. It has infrared guidance. It can be used as air-to-air missile as well as surface-to-air missile, and those are very good. I'm not sure if they're very good at striking the ballistic missiles themselves, but the cruise
They
missiles.
are really not really capable of striking ballistic missiles, as far as I know.
They're too fast.
Yeah, just because they are not physically capable of developing such a speed. I have a very good friend in air defense forces right now. He is a scholar in technical sciences and an officer, and he knows really much about missiles, yeah, and about air defenses. He says that even old Soviet complexes are physically, theoretically capable of shooting down ballistic missiles. The problem is the missile doesn't have enough speed to reach the target. So the ballistic missile is very fast. The profit of the Patriot complex is because the missile of the air defense is blazing fast and it's predicting the trajectory. So it
Yeah,
has a really nice computer that predicts the trajectory in huge distances.
yeah. We have a question from Roger. What is commonly used to take down Shahid drones? I assume you don't use
Oh,
Patriots for those. No, we don't.
no, Patriots are not used to shoot down Shahid drones. Some people often called Mykola, like Mykola is like Uncle Sam, a common Ukrainian soldier with the American-supplied Browning M2 gun. Right now is somewhere there shooting at the Shahid drone. Yeah. So the most effective tactic was for some time using mobile firing groups. So guys on trucks with high caliber guns and big lights in the sky, going onto different spots and shooting. Right now they're shooting, yeah, and shooting them down. But the Russians are changing tactics themselves. They are enhancing Shahid drones to fly really high, so you cannot shoot them with regular air defense guns, high caliber ones. They add jet engines to them, so making this cheap, grotesque weapon more deadly and more unreachable. Sometimes they use some tricks to avoid electronic warfare systems. Oh, I can hear that little damn thing again. It's flying somewhere there. Yeah. But anyway, to the Shahid drones, and they're using chemical weapons in them. Unfortunately, because two rescuers who were recovering parts of the Shahid drones have died of respiratory disease. Their lungs just stopped working after recovering Shahid drone after the strike. That's what I know. And now all the people that recover these remains of the drones, they use chemical protection suits and gas masks. Also, Shahid drones have received distance movement sensors to detonate, because there were a couple of explosions right now when rescuers came to dismantle it and to disarm the Shahid, and it exploded and killed them when they approached it. So these are wildly criminal tactics. It's really dangerous to approach Shahid drone at any point, actually. If it has not detonated, even if it has detonated without proper protection, it's better not to touch it. If you have some special equipment, like a big grader that will move it away and you can kind of neutralize it, it's okay. But touching it with bare hands, approaching it, really dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of chemical weapons, also Dutch intelligence accuses Russia of using the banned weapons. Recently, there was an update. How serious and how credible is that? And by the way, before you answer this, not only Shahids come with chemical weapons, because recently Russians started using their ballistic missiles like Iskander, armed with fragmentation charges. Basically, charges armed with shrapnel.
Cluster changes, yeah.
Which are designed to kill people. They're literally designed to explode and kill as many people as possible.
And I'll answer this with another question. Why do you think the report from the Dutch and German guys was so timely?
Good question.
Because there was just recently, a couple of days ago, Shahids full of chemicals against Kiev. So literally, what I was telling about the rescue guys, it happened a couple of days ago. And yeah, when I heard it, I was not shocked. I was maybe, it caught me off guard, because I used to feel kind of safe when the air raid alert is off. Yes, and it's eerie. It's eerie that even the remnants of a drone, when it has been shot down or fell on the ground, can kill you.
It's crazy. It's a different question. You know, one thing is disarming the drone that carries explosives, because you can literally take the warhead to the, I don't know, training ground and like destroy it. But if this warhead comes with chemicals, it's a different thing, because you need to dismantle and disarm this thing in a different place. We have several commentaries. Velvet Magnet. Velvet, so good to see you. Oh my god, it's been ages. The only reason I spent less time on Ukraine war streams is because my life is consumed with trying to protect the US from Trump and MAGA trying to destroy the US. First of all, happy Independence Day. And second of all, I completely respect your position, your civilian position, right? You have my complete respect. And we have another one from Van Grail. Did you hear about the EU announcing that under its defense expansion from 2 to 5%, they said spending on Ukraine is our defense and counts towards each nation's defense spending. Did you hear something about this one?
Actually, no. They're talking about increasing their defense spending on domestic levels because it's a NATO-like interest to increase that. Let's remind people that 90% of the tech that goes to Ukraine is old military equipment that used to be dumped and had to be destroyed by the countries that provide it. Like Leopard 1 tanks, they come straight over the museum. It's a Cold War era 4th generation tank, I believe. Yeah, even those Abrams tanks and F-16 fighter jets and Patriot air defense missiles, they're all at least 20 years old. So it's not new. Nothing new goes to Ukraine except maybe for some interceptor missiles that come from the Patriot air defense launchers or IRIS-T complexes, which have been developed like recently in Germany. And I remember just pre-war, pre-full-scale war in late 2021, Poland has received one IRIS-T complex, and it, wow, it's groundbreaking. Not a single missile will enter Polish airspace now. And then the war starts, and you see a couple of IRIS-T complexes working and not being able to shoot down all the missiles, like old ballistic missiles and cruise missiles. So it is changing. It is changing. What I was going to say, I have forgotten, but it had to be very interesting and very timely. I believe I
about
remember
air
that.
defense, about chemical weapons.
Yeah, we've been talking about that.
Rick the Ukrainian is in the chat. Hello, my friend.
Oh, hello, one.
Yeah, Rick the
Hello,
Ukrainian.
man.
You just showed us just a while ago how to impersonate Donald Trump. I can tell you that Rick the Ukrainian is the one who does it best from everyone I know.
Okay.
Yeah,
He just again.
He just does it so well. Did you meet, by the way?
Yeah, sure, we met on some of the projects like Red Lines. But still, I need to see how he impersonates people, because that's he might be my rival. I have to do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm joking. Hello, Rick, and really great to see people gathering in the, as I call, Ukraine community. Yeah.
So. Yeah. Well, we are Ukraine, and by the way, members of my channel currently, I have only one level of membership, which is like anyone can join. Is called We Are Ukraine. Right, because like in Ukraine, we don't care about like which color is your skin, where you are from. If you have some Cossack spirit in your heart, like you are among the proper people here. We have several questions. What kind of chemicals do they use? Correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I remember, all the cases, like majority of cases at least, were the cases of Russians using using the irritating chemicals that attack the respiratory system, and they did it like way before the war in Ukraine. 1993, oh my god, no, 1992, war in Abkhazia, in Georgia, they were using the chemicals even there, like, 20 years ago.
It's
30
their
years
favorite
ago.
kind of weapon,
Yeah.
after all.
Could yeah.
Is the connection okay with me?
Yeah, connection is good.
Right then. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and the chemical, I'm not a chemist to identify all of them, but as far as I know, they are not using sarin and other like poisonous gases yet. They are mostly using some chemicals that irritate the lungs and irritate the skin. And poisoning is one of their tactics. Like, remember the Novichok case in Great Britain, and some other people, former FSB and KGB officers, were killed in Great Britain by using uranium and plutonium, like radioactive particles. It's kind of their favorite type of weapon right now. I'm not saying that there's not some of their favorite type, but still they seem to be like, how to express it, like a maniac which favors one kind of torture weapon than the other one, like, from the Dexter TV series. If I'm correct, he preferred to like choke his victims. I'm sorry for those like allegories, but still, it's really hard. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's really scary. It's really scary about those chemical weapons. What scares me the most is those shaheeds with chemicals on that.
Les says, could you use some liquid plastic that could be used to wrap, seal those drones? The problem is not sealing the drones. The problem is that you have to disarm it, and you cannot just take the warhead and bury it somewhere in the grave. You have to destroy it, which means that it's neutralized, it's deactivated, and it will not harm anybody. Another comment from Roger, who says, as far as chemicals go, chlorpicrin was mentioned today, which is apparently something from the World War One. It's an irritating substance, which is extremely nasty. What I wanted to ask, we already have a comment from Sergei, who already answered the question in the title for this video. He said that, of course, we will withstand 100%, and I have no doubts, of course, because we're Ukrainians. There's no way for us to fail this task, withstanding the terrorist aggression. Magnesium is good for the nervous system. Also, yes, Brigitte, genau, that is the case. Do we have more questions? Not much. Rick the Ukrainian congratulated.
That's an interesting one with. Yeah, you can hear me. Yeah.
Yeah.
The interesting one was with liquid plastic. It's actually an easier story about that, and war is an easier story. It's not all high tech. At least some kind of protection, a gas mask, and literally a chemicals used, like from Breaking Bad. They use it. It's okay. It's okay. So most of poisonous moistures, and gases will not penetrate that. At least minimal protection is needed. I've seen dozens of videos of guys like throwing landmines over the place, like taking them and throwing them. 2 kilograms of explosives, just throw it. Would you? No, I wouldn't do that, but still I can see that because they know that it will not detonate without a detonator. Yeah, Like small landmines against infantry, they will detonate on impact, which how they called paddles, yeah, paddles. The very unpleasant ones. And still, you can protect yourself from the chemicals, as well as you can protect you from explosives and mines and all of that stuff.
Yeah, God, I remember 2015. We had this uh, crazy situation when our guys, actually, it was the Ukrainian armed forces. They were planting mines, and planting like how there's a truck moving slowly, and they have to mine the territory, create the minefield, and they were planting the anti-tank mines that literally that like 10 kilograms of explosives, which again, if it comes without detonator, of course, like it will not explode. So they just were like throwing them from the back of the truck on the ground, and there was a guy walking behind the truck and literally installing those detonators in each of them. And then there were guys behind them, they were literally planting them in the ground. That stuff, literally, you can jump on this detonator yourself. Unless you weigh something like 150 kilos, it will not explode. That's the fact. I saw it. But then something happened, something went wrong inside of the truck full of those anti-tank mines. And I remember the explosion was so crazy, so the only thing they found from the guys was someone's leg. That was literally all
Wow.
that, yeah, all that's left. And it was like summer 2015. We were in Krasnohorivka, Marinka, that area. You could literally look at Russian positions in Stara Mikhailivka and, like, you know, send them a message. But it was crazy. But those mines, I I giggle so much, you know, when this huge Ukrainian drone like Baba Yaga, for example, comes like to the Russian position with like this big anti-tank mine, like just wobbling underneath, and it just drops this stuff, and the explosions, they look absolutely crazy because 10 kilograms of like high explosive charge, that like falling on your position, that is freaking insane. That is more than in a, I think that is more than in like mortar shell even.
Yeah, it's when it drops right onto your head, it's really not that pleasant.
It can literally like hit a head and deliver some damage.
Yeah, and actually, thank you very much for birthday celebration in the comments. Thank you. So right now, yeah, it's my birthday. I'm 25
Already?
at this moment. Already right now. Yeah, in Ukraine, it's already midnight.
Oh my God,
Thank
my dear
you
friends, we have a person who celebrates birthday tonight, guys. You were born just 2 minutes ago, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
So, what's your plans? What's your plans for celebrating tonight or today?
Actually, I got 10 liters of beer.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's not all for me, but still, we went into the shop and bought two big bottles of German beer. Grambacher, if I'm correct. Not
Kronbacher.
Kronbacher. Not Kronbacher. It's
No?
like something like. I'll thank you. I'll send you the picture. So it's a nice big cane of beer. Yeah, I actually plan to have some kind of a calm day. Spend it maybe order some food from an Asian restaurant. Yeah, just spend the day calmly. Because also it's Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. I was remembering the names of the days of the week in English. It's Saturday. For my birthday, it's a day off, and yeah, just having something, a calm day and a calm evening will do.
Yeah, I wish we could have a different reason to like meet on the stream and or offline and celebrate your birthday, but instead of talking about Russian terrorism and Russian atrocities. Besides this, we have several more updates. There is an update that Russians actually hit some substation that caused the blackout at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Have you heard something about this one?
Yeah, but I really did not pay a lot of attention to do the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant news because it happens, you know. It's like in Ukraine. I'm more worried about the drones over my city than the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. And well, if it explodes, it explodes. I mean, the logic is like that. What we have there is a complete ignorance and ignoring the international atomic rules for 3.5 years.
Russians be Russians.
Yeah, and nobody cares. Yeah,
Yeah.
like nobody cares. And we've seen nuclear objects in Iran being literally bombed with enriched uranium there, possibly in Fordo. And yeah, all that we've got is kind of Rafael Grossi saying, well, it's not okay to bomb those places. And it's all.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad, guys. Don't do that. Trump's tie-up with Zelensky. Let's talk about this one. So generally, you are more optimistic about the possibility that the United States will be sending more air defense aid to Ukraine.
Well, they have no choice. Well, we have no choice but to hold on right now, and I believe that they have no choice but to send those Patriot air defense missiles to at least them. We're not talking about anything else right now, because it's literally not in the interest of the United States to drop us out. Just as Wang Yi has said to Kaya Kalas reportedly that it's not in the interest of China to let Russia lose the war in any sense, because allegedly the US will shift their attention to China. Why would they do that? Is not really is not really clear to me, because China and United States are two closest trade partners, and they have trade relations going on right now. They're signing treaties and expanding cooperation. So that was also a phrase that if China really did support Russia, the war would be over already. So they are bowling with that, I believe, trying to be the cool guy in the room and saying that, well, if we joined any kind of war, it would be over in 3 days, like that.
Oh my God! Today I stumbled upon some of the Trump's posts that I copied and
Why did you do that?
posted.
Oh, no.
Posted on my in my community on YouTube, where he says Putin is not the threat. Like illegal immigrants are the threat. Putin is not the threat. We should talk less about Putin, and it was like 5 months ago. And do you think that he changed his mind big time? Because I don't really see how Putin actually, I don't know, threatens Trump himself. It's like a completely opposite thing, I think.
Well, I could say that it was his pre-election rhetoric, but I've seen him go into the new camp for illegal migrants, surrounded by alligator waters, just after speaking to Zelensky. And yeah, he went to open it, a literal concentration camp style prison for illegal migrants in a Make America Great Again hat on the 4th of July. So even my logic would say that it was his election rhetoric, but really, I don't know. I don't know anymore, to be honest. I'm not so sure.
I just don't know how to comment this. I will just vape.
Yeah, yeah.
Holy shit.
You know, the world got crazy right now, and the more, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I believe there's some reasons for that. It's just a period that we're living in, and we have just to hold on because everything will be okay. In Ukraine, in the Middle East, in the Far East, maybe there will be a couple more geopolitical global changes, a couple more wars, global conflicts, and economic crises, and then entire industries will crumble. AI revolution, but overall it will be okay.
hope so. Um, let's. Oh my God, we lost Paul. Paul. Okay, my friends, let me message Paul if he's okay, because we lost connection. I hope everything's fine. Yeah, let's show there is Russian illegal invasion migrants in Florida. There's also illegal Russian migration to Ukraine. That is something that, again, oh, okay, we have Paul back.
Oh, I'm
Thank
back.
God.
I was just talking about AI revolution, and the AI decided to drop me off.
Yeah, but thank God you're fine because in
Yeah, I'm fine.
such
That's okay.
yeah in such
Uh,
conditions.
it's just the Wi-Fi. Yeah, to finish my like thoughts, that I think that there will be a couple of wars, conflicts, a couple of global economic crises, AI revolution, maybe AI revolt, but overall it will all be fine.
Yeah. Rachel says Russia bombed the Chinese consulate in Odessa after they heard that there were some Chinese parts in Ukrainian drones. But besides that, I know that recently Russia also hit the embassy of Poland, as far as I remember, because the Polish prime minister was talking about it in his social media. And one thing that I still don't hear any response from the United States about is the Russian attack that happened like a couple of weeks ago when the office of Boeing was hit in Ukraine, in Kyiv actually, and it was hit and damaged pretty bad, but still like no response. Boeing, who cares about Boeing? I don't know. So we didn't have any response from the White House on this one, but hopefully we will. One thing that again makes me giggle a bit is Trump criticizes Biden for depleting U.S. arsenals and generally positions this war as Biden's war, which is like 100% retransmission of Russian propaganda that is like actually America that started the war against Russia, not Russia started the war against Ukraine. What do you think about this? How persuasive is this narrative that it's actually Biden's
Well,
war?
I believe the narrative that maybe Trump is Agent Krasnov, that he is a hidden Russian asset, uh, is a psyop, so it's not true. And Trump is 100% not a Russian covert agent and not a Soviet hired agent. It's just my inner feeling. So everything that happens might really be, in his view, in the interest of the America, but America, in his view, might be a couple of businessmen, maybe a dozen, 2 dozen businessmen that make money, that are late stage capitalism right now, and all of that stuff. And he's acting as he sees profitable for him and the company, just like Yanukovych did. Oh, it's really familiar.
Do
But
you do
still,
you see do you see that analogy between like Trump and Yanukovych? Because I do, I really do sometimes.
they are so familiar. They are so familiar in their I mean, how you say it? They are
Dumb as fuck.
not looking familiar. They are not. They are a little bit talking similarly. They had the same political technologies. Basically, yeah, they have the same aura. Oh, yeah, they have the same aura, like that.
They have the same aura, and it's good that you mentioned the same political technologies because, again, I'm not sure if our dear family in the chat remembers this one, but there's Paul Manafort, who worked for Yanukovych, for Ukrainian dictator, before he ran away to Russia, and then he went back to the United States, and he worked with Trump during his elections. I think that he still works for him, considering the communication, because again, we can see this very, very interesting shift in the communication agenda where American officials are banned from calling Russia the aggressor. They're basically forbidden to call Russian war criminals. They cannot. They feel like, an explosive device will go off in their pocket if they accidentally tell the truth that actually Putin is an invader, Putin started the war, and things like that. Do you think that it's that this is something that comes from Paul Manafort, or maybe it just comes from, I don't know, fans of balalaika and vodka in the White House itself?
I see a certain correlation between the target audience for President Yanukovych back then, like these working class hillbilly people, and MAGA audience, Make America Great Again, win of the Republicans. So I believe it was, I'm not saying that it's orchestrated and it's a conspiracy theory. I see that it was maybe projected to test here in Ukraine, and still they see that his regime failed, and Yanukovych himself failed. And after his fleeing a period of instability and war started, really, really a long one. It's been going on for 11 years right now. But I believe that it will be 12 years, not more. There's this numerical conspiracy that I call, because the Third Reich existed only for 12 years, like that. Then the war in Syria lasted for 12 years. I believe that our Ukrainian instability, I mean all the war and political instability, will last for 12 years, not more, because it's like a natural cycle, yeah? I believe that people just die who were involved in this, or they get so exhausted over their cycle of 12 years that they just stop doing what they were doing. It's like that. It's not 100% precise, but I believe it's about 12 years to turn the wheel, let's say so.
Could be. In Ukraine, for example, we had revolution like any other 10 years, something like, which is close, I would say. We have commentary from Bobo, who says, is it just me or Trump and Orban looking very much alike? Look, that is just my personal opinion, but the way we speak always often reflects the way we look like, okay? Our look is very, very much influenced by the way we feel, the way we talk, and if you look at, for example, Donald Trump with, those unexisted lips, because he's like, squeezes them all the time in this like hate, like radiating hate towards everything living, and like those immigrants like eating your dog and stuff. They should all be eaten by alligators. That basically changes you big time. Guys, look at Paul. Paul is accustomed, to smiling. He's like a friendly person from Kiev. he doesn't look like Orban, thank God, for the very same reason. Because Paul, for example, is a positive person. He enjoys life. He respects people, and this is why he looks like he does. Look at Putin, for example. That I heard a beep. Everything fine?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, look at Putin, for example, and you will see like the same picture, absolutely. We have another question from Brostad. What do you think about the new agreement of Ukrainian defense production in Denmark? I can say that it's absolutely brilliant, and that the Danish model is something that I believe all of our partners should really adopt. There was new agreement on production of Ukrainian weaponry, the weaponry for Ukraine, in Denmark on the Danish soil, actually. And first of all, it eliminates, I would say, completely the risk of those weapons and equipment being destroyed by unfortunate Russian missile strike. Of course, there are other risks, the risks of sabotage, again, some sort of like Palestine supporters, Palestine front, will jump behind the fence and set a bunch of cars on fire, saying that they're destroying weapons that were made for Israel. But yeah,
allegedly made for Israel, because they kind of burned two United Kingdom like planes that refuel jet fighters.
Yeah. But the very Danish model is something absolutely perfect. I actually hoped that more our partners would adopt this model. Speaking of Trump-Putin diplomacy, because today I saw that cringy press conference when the journalist stood up and asked American president, like you said that you were a bit sarcastic when you said that you would end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. Why haven't you ended this war in like 5 months of your presidency? And Trump replied, like, well, it's a bit more complicated than we thought. But again, he promised to end the war in 24 hours 53 times on the national television in the United States. 53 times. People counted, okay? And apparently it's like just a bit more difficult than he thought. In your opinion, why hasn't Trump made progress, okay, in calls with Putin?
Well, because he hasn't pressured them. What really makes the negotiation process going is pressure on the aggressor. So even sanctions and this economic harassment of the aggressor would do a lot. Maybe launching a dozen Tomahawk missiles on the Ukrainian territories that are occupied by Russians on their military bases will send a signal, a powerful one, maybe 100, maybe 200 Tomahawk missiles. And just after that, the entire diplomatic process would be round and going.
Yeah, because, I remember this cringy meeting between President Zelensky and Donald Trump and J.D. Vance in the Oval Office, where President Zelensky started like explaining that you cannot really negotiate with Putin because look at these pictures, right? Those negotiations don't work. And they both started attacking him. They started attacking, shouting at him. And now they both basically admit that, well, yeah, he was right. Do you believe that, first of all, do you believe that the sanctions will be placed? Right, because they were talking about sanctions. Lindsey Graham mentions those sanctions like in every of his interviews. And second, will we see more military aid, more defense aid besides anti-air missiles coming to Ukraine, in your opinion?
Uh, I'm sorry. Can you please repeat the question?
The sanctions, will we see them
Sanction. Yeah,
placed
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
I
at
get it. Yeah,
all,
yeah.
and military aid?
I was thinking about that, about Lindsey Graham. That man is speaking a lot, and he was promising those kind of sanctions for the last 3 months, maybe, and the Trump administration did not vote for that. They do not want them. And if the administration doesn't want those sanctions to be in place, I believe that we will not see them. Possibly, when the administration will change its views, they will use it as, as a developed already tool to pressure Russia to some kind of a compromise. But still, it is possible that it will be used. I'm not saying it's likely or highly likely, but still, there is a possibility to use that. Real sanctions, maybe it's the harshest that they can do, but I believe that 100 tomahawks will be more expressive.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tomahawks will be extremely good against targets like Kerch Bridge. Oh my God, I'm saying this, okay, because people.
Okay, the
Oh,
illegal structure built on illegally annexed and occupied territory by people that are illegally working there. Oh no.
yeah, yeah, because people often say this, in the email, for example. I received plenty of emails, and I started receiving them since like 2022, like early in the when the war started, and people are like, "I know what can help you win the war." I'm like, what can it be? You should destroy the Crimean Bridge. And I'm like, you don't say, really? Yeah, but the fact is, guys, it's like, again, very, very hard to destroy, even using like missiles like ATACMS. However, missiles like Tomahawk actually have potential to do that because they carry basically enough explosives that can cause some significant damage, especially to the railway part of this bridge, which is more crucial.
You see that I will call it a demolition.
Yeah.
Yeah, like not destruction of the Crimean Bridge, but a demolition. And a couple of tomahawks will do that if you hit it precisely in the spot where Ukraine has hit it for 3 times right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember that tomahawks were actually mentioned in the deterrence package, so-called deterrence package that President Zelensky was talking about to Trump early when Trump was inaugurated, as far as I remember. Do you think that we will finally see those missiles coming to Ukraine? Because I have my doubts. I know that Tomahawks, for example, they require Navy, like naval platform to be launched, and things like that. I don't really think that I've heard anything about like land-based platform for launching Tomahawks, even if they are, even if they are here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, but I see the cruise missiles launched from American ships as the most maybe expressive tool of negotiations, remembering the strikes against the Russian base in Syria, where chemical weapons were stored during the first term of Donald Trump, as you can see it.
yeah, and by the way, for those who probably forgot this, there were two very, very good cases of America actually killing improving Russian terrorists that took place way before the Russian full-scale invasion of Ukraine. One was when the chemical storages were destroyed in Syria. It was a strike on the Syrian air base where not only the chemicals were stored, but also the Russian airplanes, and they got improved. And another strike took place when Russian Wagnerites decided to attack a facility controlled by Kurdish forces and also American forces, and basically Americans eliminated several Russian companies of Wagnerites in just within half an hour. And
I remember that.
yeah, all that happened while Trump was a president, and that was something that actually made difference, you know, and that was something that I would really, really like to see used in these negotiations, at least somehow, because Trump never mentions that. Sometimes he says that, yeah, I helped Ukraine with javelins, which again, Ukraine purchased from the United States, not like they were donated. But I would really, really like to see more pressure on Putin. Generally, what kind of pressure you think might change Putin's stance in these negotiations and make him, I don't know, commit to peace talks?
Well, the only thing that drifts us away from peace talks is one of the sides not eager to do them. And you may guess which side is that by seeing who's launching dozens of Shahid drones and missiles each night. As we started the talk, we're not sending missiles against Russian civilians and against Russian energy infrastructure as well. You remember there was a terror against Russian oil bases and oil refineries just half a year ago. And after the first round of talks with the Trump administration, we stopped doing that.
Do you think Trump's peace plan, peace push, do you think it's realistic or naive? Let's talk about this, because again, we have so many opinions in the comments as well, where people say you get it wrong. Actually, Trump is trying to negotiate from peaceful standpoint. We were pressuring Russia a lot, basically too much. There's I believe Slovak, one of the Slovak officials today, was he a foreign minister or something, who said that actually we should like forgive Russia for all it did, you know?
Yeah, it was Slovak foreign minister. He said, well, actually there could be a moment when we will have to forgive Russia for what it did and start business again. Yeah, and actually hearing that from a country that's a neighbor of Ukraine and literally next in line for Russian aggression, conventional one, is really, really unwise.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's check out, do we have any questions in the chat? Rachel says Ukraine gets punished for following international law. Yeah. I can tell you that, you know, Ukraine gets punished for not just for following the international law, but also for being naive, because Ukraine gave up like such a deterrence force, which was Ukraine's nuclear arsenal, that could basically guarantee peace today, right? That could guarantee Ukraine's invulnerability from Russian weapons today. Today, there would be no war if Ukraine still possessed like world's third largest nuclear arsenal. But we did what we had to do, because otherwise we would miss a lot of partnership opportunities. Probably we would never see like the membership in the European Union, things like that. So it's a hard topic, but one thing for sure, it's not like Ukraine is punished for being decent, because otherwise, you know, we are not fighting dragons to become dragons, I believe. And we did something right, something correct, and now we not like we demand, but at least we expect the same from people we made this agreement with.
Well, and that comment, I paid attention to it too, that Ukraine gets punished for following the international law and Israel is rewarded for violating it. Israel is not rewarded for that. They just violate it when they consider it in the interest of their country. Yeah, and thank you for shout out to the channel as well. I can see that. And what was happening is Israel just acts on its own, and it can conduct operations which nobody knows about, like the Spider-Web operation. And we can see that it's really, really effective when you conduct something that nobody is waiting for, and that's painful. That's really dangerous to your enemy, like the operation when they destroyed the entire Arab coalition air force just in 24 hours by constantly sending planes to bomb their air places, like air bases. And we are in a very early stage of Israel-style government and Israel-style state right now, as far as I can feel. I can see it. So we are going to that kind of society and military, but with a difference, because we are 10 times larger in terms of population. We are 10 times larger in terms of territory. So you cannot create like a compact state that will be defending against external aggressors all that much. I believe Israel is like Odessa Oblast and a couple more oblasts in Ukraine altogether. And Ukrainian territory is really, really huge, if you can see that on the map.
I would say that Gaza itself is probably the size of Bologna, maybe, like the district
Yeah,
of
probably.
Kyiv. Like it's very, very small, and surprisingly, so many people were killed there. But in my opinion, we of course cannot have such efficiency of management like in Israel, because again, Israel is a small country. You look at Georgia, for example, that is very, very tiny, and the progress they made before, that Russian dream destroyed everything. But before that, the progress they made in Georgia in terms of reforms, in terms of everything, the energy efficiency, because Georgia is like very, very tiny country, and it's very, very easy to manage it. Ukraine, on the other hand, guys, that is a completely different thing. It's like Texas, maybe more, I think, in terms of territory. And you can imagine like the Texas, like how huge is that place. I think we're even like larger. But again, comparing to Israel, I think we are very, very different, because again, Israel and United States, they usually go shoulder to shoulder in terms of different votes in the United Nations and yada yada. And interesting thing that we can observe right now is that United States in the United Nations usually vote together with Russia. They don't accept, for example, the resolutions adopted by G7, regarding the Russian aggression and things like that. And we can see that Israel pretty much reflects the same stance, the same political stance with the United States. And one interesting thing that Russia became good friends with Talibs right now. Basically, Russia helps Taliban to fight terrorism, which is so cringy. And Talibs are known for hosting Osama bin Laden back in the days when Al Qaeda conducted this the horrifying attack on the United States on 9/11. Basically, Talibs were hosting Osama bin Laden. They were providing Al Qaeda with asylum, and they were like best friends. And ISIS, for those who probably don't know, is basically evolution of Al Qaeda. Is basically what Al Qaeda turned into eventually. So there is a very, very interesting moment right now when we see, for example, official representatives of the United States in the UN voting together with Russia that removed Taliban from the list of the terrorist organizations, and Taliban basically was the force that supported Al Qaeda in its attack on the United States, which is crazy. And the same thing we can see with the Israel, because Russia. It's a very interesting topic. So the weapons used by forces like Hamas against Israel, they come from where? Mostly they are either Iranian made or Russian made. The rockets that Hezbollah or Hamas shoot at Israel are basically the shells from BM21 Grad systems that are like literally Russia made. So there is a question, emerging, like, what the hell is going on today, guys? Like, did you forget where we are? What's your opinion on all this? Like, you already said that the world is absolutely crazy today, but generally speaking.
It's absolutely nuts because there is some hidden logic in that. I mean, making friends with Talibs in a country that you tried to conquer like 40 years ago and made your entire empire collapse is maybe the only way around, because you see, United Kingdom tried to subjugate Afghanistan. They failed. Soviet Union tried to subjugate Afghanistan and they failed. And the United States were there in the military presence and they still failed to be victorious against ISIS and against the Taliban. They had to retreat. And what we had in the process is millions of people starving in Afghanistan and literally making life unbearable there. But the country did not fall. The region, it's the region. So there's no choice in Russia but to accept Talibs and work with them, because imagine it's an entire country that's a smuggling hub for your army when you are in global isolation. So being friends with them is a window of opportunity for the Russians.
Yeah, we have a comment that Netanyahu is friend with Putin, by the way, which I think like doesn't make headlines today. Like everybody knows that. But my friends, I think it's a good opportunity to call this a night, because Paul is celebrating his birthday today, and it's way after midnight in Ukraine. I think we
I'm really
can.
sleepy.
Yeah, I think we can let Paul go and have some rest. You deserve it, my friend. My dear friends, we'll see you later. Thank you so much for your questions. Thank you so much to all the members of my channel. And Paul, is there everything good?
Yeah. Again, this from time to time they are sending in messages that's really dangerous.
Ah, shit. Oh my God. Okay, I really hope that you will have some sleep tonight, my friend. Is there anything you would like to say to our dear family in the chat?
Yeah, so to everyone in the chat, thank you very much for being our audience and family, because we all celebrate and mourn and stay and watch with all of you, and some of you will actually join our team of Ukraine community as bloggers, I believe, in the near future when we start the blogger school. Yeah, and actually, I have an idea how to make a small studio using only AliExpress parts from it for like 3 pennies. It would be an interesting like video and lesson. Also, I would like to make an announce. I'm making a video about Obolon district of of Kyiv. You made a remark that Gaza is exact size of Obolon, but still, I really love that district of Kyiv. I have a couple of stories about the architecture of it. I already filmed some footage. I will make a video on my channel about that. It's absolutely not news, not the format that we used to broadcast here and talk about, but I want to make that video.
That is so sick, my friend. I would love to see that, because I lived in Kyiv my whole life. I don't really know much about Obolon, so it will be very interesting to see for myself as well. Yeah.
And do you know what is the direct translation of Obolon from Old Ukrainian to English? It's the floodplain. So it was the floodplain that was there originally.
I always thought that Obolon was a beer, like literally. That's like the only association I had. Yeah, and a football club. I'm not a big fan, but anyways. That will be very, very interesting to see, my friend. I will make sure to share it on my channel as well. And my dear friends, thank you very much for watching us, for staying with us today. Thank you so much for your questions. Big thanks also to the moderators. And as always...
And to the audience.
Yeah, as always, be safe.
Thank you. Goodbye.